What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It's your boy, Adam Perez. We're back once again with a brand new video for you guys today. Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm actually kind of enjoying doing reactions to behind-the-scenes stuff, featurettes, along with interesting interviews also. Today, we're actually going to go ahead and jump into an interview from Rotten Tomatoes, fresh off of the D23 Expo stage from last week. We got the entire cast here of Daredevil Born Again. Now, for those of you who didn't have the opportunity to join us for our live reaction to the Disney Entertainment Showcase panel that they had last Friday, myself, along with my co-host Stuart, we did go ahead and highlight some of the brand new Daredevil Born Again news and information that dropped, and even reviewed and gave our reaction to the leaked trailer for Daredevil Born Again. You might be able to find it online. I'm not quite sure if Walt Disney has sort of scrubbed all the internet of any leaked footage that might have gone out, but I highly suggest you check out the trailer for Daredevil Born Again. It was incredible, to certainly say the least. So finding this interview here from Rotten Tomatoes, I'm kind of interested to see what the cast has to say, talking a little bit more about this upcoming season that at one point in time had plans on being something significantly different. Disney and Marvel were able to realize this is just not working out for us and decided to go back to really what worked for them before in regards to the Netflix series, and maybe up in the ante a little bit more when they went ahead and got back into filming and writing for Daredevil Born Again. So this series itself technically is Born Again, and we'll see if Disney and Marvel can certainly knock this one out of the park. But I wanted to go ahead and highlight this. This is from the YouTube Rotten Tomatoes channel if you guys want to check it out for yourself. But this is the interview with the Daredevil Born Again cast. And look, guys, before we get into it, if there is any other interviews out there from some of your favorite fandoms that you guys know we like to cover out here, or just want my reaction and thoughts in regards to what some of the directors, actors, or whatever the case might be has to say, definitely go ahead and put some requests in the comment section box below and let me know what you guys thought about this particular interview. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up here, and hopefully you guys can hear it too. Let me just make sure the volume is there. All right, let's do this.
This is a highly anticipated interview with the cast of Daredevil Born Again. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think take two. This was take two. I think our take two was even better than take one. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think things are going well now.
I think they're
They
going
definitely have
well.
the
What
whole
makes this such a
cast. I'm
highly
surprised even
anticipated
John
interview?
Bernthal's there.
You said it.
Right. Which one?
I think
I was
I'm
actually
able to
talking
decide.
about the series. The reason for that. I mean, there's such diehard fans for this. Obviously, you've made a jump, a huge jump. We're seeing this on a new platform. How much of the original is going to be sort of the tone, the costumes, overall be canon, stay the same, and how much is going to change?
Well, there's some things we can say and some things we can't.
Okay.
Right. So I would say the tone.
Putting that disclaimer out there already.
Going to be very similar, and I would say at times even deeper.
Wow, that was very concise. Charlie, would you like to add to that?
I have a new costume. You asked about costumes.
You
and
do?
I mean, it's on the internet. Don't look at me like that.
Vincent being the police officer
It's
from
all over
Marvel
the
Studios
internet.
out here.
It wasn't
Be careful
just
what
me
you say,
out on
bro.
the town in a red suit. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, man. Actually, if you guys haven't seen some of the behind the scenes photos and clips of filming for Daredevil Born Again, please do. That definitely highlighted a brand new suit for Daredevil, as Charlie Cox is talking about here. There's even a really great clip of a stunt work of him coming off the top of a building along with a cameraman with some wire work as he swings down into the street and tackles Bullseye, sort of thing. So some really great set photos, but yeah, clearly Vincent is trying to keep the Marvel snipers away from Charlie Cox right now.
Notes. I'm just saying.
I'm going off book a little bit. Okay.
Feel free.
It's highly anticipated.
Yeah.
The new costume is highly anticipated.
It is.
You know, Vincent kind of said it really well. It is what we're trying to do with the show is tread a very careful line between playing the hits, getting the ingredients that we had that made the show work previously, but also not alienating a new audience, so that you don't have to remember everything that happened and all the characters that happened, all the characters from the previous show, so that we hopefully can attract a new audience and also welcome back our returning fans.
Well,
but tonally, from what we shot, we haven't seen much anything yet. But
you finished shooting.
We finished shooting.
Yes.
From what we shot, it feels like that we have honored the dark tone of the original show, and that's very exciting and important to us. I feel like it's one of the things that makes this character work so well. Certainly, it's what I believe why the character it works so well in the comics.
Yeah.
When they embrace that darker tone, and it's an exciting space on the Disney Plus platform.
Well, let's talk.
I will say, I do love the reassurance by Vincent and Charlie Cox here, that this is definitely going to feel very much like the Netflix show, if not a little bit more, kind of diving a little bit darker, if you will. And shout out to the both of them too for being champions, sort of this series. I mean, granted, despite what the show was supposed to be, they're very much sort of good soldiers in the sense of like following through with what Marvel Studios certainly is asking of them, but also at the same time kind of giving some pushback and understanding what it is that the fans are really looking for. And so the fact that they really championed Marvel Studios to kind of go back to the way things were when they can clearly tell like this certainly wasn't working out initially, right? Like I think this was going to be more like a court procedural kind of show, mixed in with maybe some like superhero content, and clearly they looked at it and was not super pleased with it. But even though Charlie Cox here says, look, we haven't seen anything of what we filmed, but just in the process of filming it feels like it was when it was Netflix. If you do get the opportunity to check out the Daredevil Born Again trailer, I said this to Stuart when we watched it, like this feels dark. It almost feels like they're pushing the limits that maybe even Netflix certainly wasn't. And there's an interesting interview out there with Vincent D'Onofrio too, where he says there's a scene that he personally thought that they were going to cut out just because of just like how much Kingpin kind of goes over the top sort of thing, and it was kind of surprised to see it in the final cut. So Disney's certainly taken a swing, and they definitely heard a lot of the fan base around the original Daredevil series, and it seems as though they're giving them what they want.
Talk a little bit about that darker tone. There is always that one epic fight scene every season.
The one shot.
Yes, one shot. You mentioned that fans are going to be the big fight scene in this season. Fans are going to be replaying that scene over and over and over. So how violent are we going?
What did you mention?
I didn't mention anything specific.
I didn't see that on the notes.
First of all, she's not exactly quoting my quote. Okay, she's like playing with it a little bit, like so.
I wouldn't want to quote you directly. I would never do such a thing.
I think that there's a scene in the movie where you fight.
I do fight
extremely cool.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now that we're on Disney, are we going to go as violent?
There are some things in this show that we go much further with than we did on the original show.
Wow, so that's what
There's one.
I swear I thought he mentioned that.
That my character does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that I can't believe made it into the cut.
Maybe this is where they got the interview quote from.
It's highly anticipated.
We'll wait for it. We'll wait for it. This relationship between Punisher and Daredevil, frenemies, set up this season for me and sort of that dynamic between the two of them.
I hate having you behind me.
Why, man?
I feel like you can make faces.
You feel like what?
You can make faces.
No, I would never.
You've been making faces the whole
He's
time.
been doing it all along.
Yeah. Shaq got that face.
It's complicated.
Facial expressions.
Between them, it always has been. I think there's a lot they admire about each other, and there's a lot that it's a lot like looking in the mirror and hating what you see too. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I just got a well said from the audience when you just said that. But yeah. So
It's
does that
sweet.
It is. It's sweet, isn't it?
It's very sweet, their relationship.
Yeah. So anything you can give me about this season and sort of that dynamic and how it will evolve over the season?
I think that's a complicated one to answer without giving too much away. So I feel like John said that perfectly. That dynamic, both in the comics but also hopefully in our show, is one of the most interesting, nuanced dynamics within the superhero world. And it's so fun to play with. It's so fun to have something in common with someone and at the same time admire them but also be appalled. by certain choices and things like that. And
There's some, if I may, there's some scenes in our episodes that of this season coming out that breach that kind of superhero world. Like our show is very grounded, right? So it leaves us the opportunity to be able to do straight up drama.
Yeah.
That's not enhanced. There's nothing magical about it, or there's no spaceships. We can do drama, and there's a particular thing that goes on between the two of them. It's a well-written scene. That is just pure drama in its highest form, as far as I'm concerned. The two of them in it they're super interesting characters. What they bring to it as actors is amazing, and the text is just wonderful to watch.
Man, I can't wait. If you check out the trailer, you do see a brief altercation between John Bernthal's Frank Castle and Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock. And man, the intensity is there for sure. I honestly I can't wait. I mean, even just some of the sequences that we see from the trailer of like Kingpin and Matt Murdock sitting opposite of each other. I mean, the tension is just incredibly sort of palpable. I mean, you've got two incredible heavy hitters here, especially when it comes to drama, not just Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, but also John Bernthal. And he's always going to bring the intensity, especially as the Punisher. So the fact that they're kind of teasing their relationship in here, and the fact that that John Bernthal as the Punisher is even in this series, not so much in his own series, but kind of jumping on board into a Daredevil season. One, it does make me wonder how much of John Bernthal as the Punisher is going to be in here. Is it just for one episode? Is he going to be in here for several episodes? But regardless, I mean, look, if Vincent D'Onofrio is looking back and talking about how great of a written scene that is, and even the idea of just how their performances are, if Vincent D'Onofrio is given a glowing sort of praise for it, then yeah, I'm definitely going to be paying attention for sure.
Where do we pick up with Foggy and Karen at the beginning of the season? I'm sure you can tell me about the beginning of the season and the dynamic with Daredevil at the beginning of the season.
Because they weren't originally even in the show.
I honestly don't know how to answer that question.
It's really hard, isn't it? It's like doing somersaults. I mean, I think, we've been talking about how like the history as it stands from the previous show is still there, right?
Yeah.
So we just pick up with these people at a new point in their lives. Some things have changed, some things are the same. They've all grown, for better and worse. And I think I'll say on a personal level, it was extraordinary to get to like walk down a New York City street with these guys again and feel that again.
Yeah. I remember the first day I walked into the trailer and you were there already.
Yeah.
You smiled and gave me a big hug, and I was like, oh,
It really does feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
It's just crazy to me though that they attempted to make a series without these two in it, and eventually coming back to realizing like, no, these people are the pieces that help make the Daredevil series as awesome as it was. Now, how long these two are going to be in the entirety of the season, that I definitely don't know. But she does mention something interesting about the idea of like, they pick up their personal lives sort of where they left them at before, like the histories are certainly still intact, but years down the line. And the way that she kind of mentions that some things are similar and some things aren't, and the little like smile that she gives, it does make me wonder if there's like, I don't want to say personal animosity, but if there's some changing of some personalities, like what's Foggy been up to lately, right? Like, is he maybe defending people that Karen doesn't feel he should be defending? Did they have a little bit of kind of like a falling out over the past couple of years, right? Like, do we get back to them maybe not as close as they used to be, but maybe something having caused a split or a rift after the events of season 3 of Daredevil? That I don't know, but the way that she talks about it, it definitely seems like there's something, whether that be between Karen and Foggy, or how Foggy and Karen view Matt right now, that I don't know. But I'm just honestly glad that these two are certainly back.
And like our last night, I think of shooting, like we walked back from the restaurant together and just caught up on like life and kids and all that, like also very important stuff. So,
so for all of you, obviously you're very bonded as a cast. You've had a couple of years, sort of that moment of coming back together and digging deep into these characters in this world again. Maybe John, you can talk about that a little bit.
About coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, in my iteration of getting to play Frank, which I'm so grateful I get to do. I care about him a ton. The things I'm most proud of happen always in the Daredevil show. Those are the I'm such an enormous fan of these guys and watching what they did in those in that first season and seeing it how the level of filmmaking, the level of performance, how much attention was paid to it, how far they were going, pushing boundaries. It was a thrill to come back, but an even bigger thrill to come back with them, I just feel real lucky.
Charlie and Vincent, do you want to add to that?
I was, as John was saying that, I was just thinking back to 2014, 2015, when we found out that he was going to be playing the Punisher in season 2, and like I got his number from I think my agent or something and sent him a text. And I mean, it's crazy that we started this thing 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And we're about to come out with what they're calling a season 1.
Right.
Like we're like almost on a victory lap, but starting again from the beginning.
That's a good, victory lap
and,
starting over though.
It's been such an incredible journey that we've all been on. And I know that I can speak for all of us when I say how grateful we are that we got the opportunity to play these characters in this show. I think all of us will be dragged kicking and screaming from it when it eventually is taken from us.
So we've seen you show up in a few other projects in the MCU. Any chance we're going to see some crossover of some of those characters coming into this show?
Ooh, good question. I don't think they can answer that question, but
there's a couple of small fun moments,
okay,
of collision, but nothing major.
Of what?
Of collision.
Oh, collision.
Yeah, I don't know. I use that word when characters come together, but I don't want to oversell anything there, get people too excited. The real stuff is in this room. Right?
Just say no, Charlie. Just say no. No, nothing. There's nothing exciting. Yeah.
It is always funny trying to see them like literally, like she mentioned earlier, doing like somersaults, like these mental gymnastics on how do you respond to some of these questions without giving anything away, right? Like the literally, I kid you not, the moment he said, there's some collision, I'm thinking to myself like, ooh, is there going to be a fight scene between some of these characters that might come back? And then he tries to clarify himself like, no, I'm not trying to get your hopes up as to like what it is. That's just the term that I use, sort of thing. So it does make me wonder. He does mention the idea of a couple of breadcrumbs here and there, sort of thing, as to some people that that'll certainly come back. I'm sorry, I started laughing because if you go back and you rewind that when he's trying to answer the question, just John Bernthal's facial reaction, like Charlie literally says, he's like, I'm just trying to make sure you're not doing facial expressions behind me. Like, bro, he's been doing it the whole time. Like, he's just a very expressive person. So I love the fact that he laughs at trying to listen to Charlie Cox answer this question. But it's in all seriousness though, I maybe 1 or 2 cameos I think would be really great. Who that ends up being, look, I didn't finish Echo season 1, so maybe Echo comes back. I mean, they had a connection in Daredevil briefly along with Vincent D'Onofrio's character, right? So maybe Echo pops up. I personally would love to see like Tom Holland as Spider-Man kind of pop up in here after they he wind up being Peter Parker's lawyer in No Way Home, if I'm not mistaken. Heck, give me like Hawkeye or Kate Bishop, just anybody that's like that I know is based off of in New York. I mean, maybe not Hawkeye so much, but I mean, well, I guess technically Kate Bishop would be Hawkeye. But I would be down to see her or even maybe Miss Marvel kind of pop up in here. But we'll see what we wind up getting. But yeah, great mental gymnastics here.
I like that, the small moments. You're not over promising anything.
You're not
trying to over deliver any false promises. And then maybe end with you, Vincent, sort of as we round up, sort of.
Are we still on John, or are we on special small moments? Where are we at?
We're at.
Because when John came on the show,
yeah,
I was thrilled because I worked with John. I did a show once where I used to meet a lot of actors who would come in and out, and only a few of them would stand out. And John came in and did a scene, and it was quite, he was quite something, and I never
Yeah,
forgot
John
him.
Bernthal
And so
brings the heat for
to
sure.
work with him again after all those years, I mean, he was just a kid, and he's a kid now, I guess, but he's a kid with kids, and it was a wonderful thing to have him come in and actually see this kind of actor that I met when he was young and who evolved into an even greater actor than he was when he was a kid. So it was really nice.
Do you have anything to say to that?
Do I have any?
Yeah.
I mean,
If you want us, we can leave.
Look, it's. I can't believe that you remember that. I can't believe that you remember that. But yeah, look, okay. I do think
He's
that
like flabbergasted at the
thing
compliment that
we
Vincent
do,
D'Onofrio just gave him.
I can speak for everybody involved here. We love it so much. We love these characters so much. We love doing this so much. It's very rare that you get to go do something that you really, really care about.
Yeah.
And along the way on a career like this, there's things that happen where you meet people who encourage you and welcome you and are about the work first and about each other first, about building first. And that's what this group is. And that day to meet, a hero of mine at a young age, and for them to be so welcoming, that is the spirit. That's the spirit that each one of these people sort of brings. And again, I said it before in the other interview, I think what's paramount here is that each one of these people, beyond anything else, they really care about these fans. They really care about getting this right, not to further their own careers or not to, win awards. Has nothing to do with that. I think these folks really, really have a sacred relationship with the fans, and it's what matters here. So again, I'm just super grateful to be in this group.
Great interview, man. Great interview. Look, there's only but so much that I think you can say in interviews like this, especially when you're trying to avoid spoilers or whatever the case may be. But I do love that last moment between Vincent and John Bernthal, in the sense of just I think especially with the age gap between these two men and the idea of Vincent just being around for such a long time and being such a well respected and incredible actor in his own right, to kind of give John Bernthal that sort of praise and to see what he's kind of grown up into as a man and as an actor, and for John to kind of see that go full circle from somebody that he clearly admires, hearing that kind of for the first time and being blown away that Vincent even remembers that time when they actually worked together so long ago. I think that just shows you the type of person that Vincent is, but also just how grateful and humble somebody like John Bernthal is, to recognize that also. So really cool stuff, man. Look, I'm really pumped for this. I cannot wait for this series to come back. Everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard, especially from Vincent and Charlie in past interviews, have truly gotten me really excited for this. We have seen Disney, especially as of late, not afraid to go ahead and push the limits in regards to rated R or TVMA sort of stuff, and I definitely don't think they're going to hold back. I think Disney has shown to me and proven to me enough that if anybody has been worried about, oh, is it going to be like Netflix? Are they going to push the boundaries like Netflix? Yes. Yes, and yes again. But look, guys, check out the trailer for yourself if you haven't done so yet. Let me know what you guys took away from this particular interview. What were some of your great moments? Do you want to talk about this interview and something the person might have said that you want me to break down further and discuss with you guys? Certainly go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below. But that will certainly do it for me here, guys. And again, if you have any other suggestions of interviews that people have given, behind the scenes stuff, featurettes that you want me to certainly react to and give my thoughts to, go ahead and shoot them my way, guys. But until next time, do me a big favor, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.